Alright, fan collectors, here we are again with a new video. This time, the fans at my parents' house. Starting with the two in the office, which is the white and brass crest with stencil over by the computer to keep that area cool. And the main fan in that room, which is unknown brand, stained glass, GE vent, Kane 52. I think it's a Kodak though. Not completely sure, but that's what I suspect it is. The lights are, I replaced them with LEDs a while back, just because those regular bulbs don't last long enough. Now, moving on to the kitchen, and it's small, also part of the house being a bit of a mess. But we had Moss WFO to the little nook eating area. That I converted from 3-speed to 4-speed. And did that lower canopy trick just because I had to convert it to ball and socket. Obviously, very nice. This one has a motor similar to Adam's Copper Tat, and I had to and they insisted I keep their original light, so I figured out how to mount that using I used brass pipe that I polished up so it looks much nicer than a chain. Oh, they're right by the stove, Newtone Sea Island 36 in white and brass. New in box too. Just about. Well, not because it wasn't really new in box, but it was unused. Very nice little fan. Quite powerful. Then in the dining room, I did post some pictures of this before. It's a Delta 2 that I added uplighting to. And also, you can look above the motor, you can see that can. That's there to act as a junction box for the wires for the uplights and to provide a bit of extra clearance. It kind of looks like a lower canopy. Again, I had to retrofit the original light that was in the room onto the fan. And also on this one, the blades were oak and I restained them in that mahogany color on one side. Of course, in the living room, I think you saw that I took the K55 Emperor. I've changed the uplight from the original C7s I'd put in it up to C9 in LED. Almost always I use daylight bulbs when I can. The exception being, as I had showed back in that stained glass fan, that's warm white because of the amber color. This, again, I converted them 3-speed now to 4-speed with another Casablanca 4-speed switch, just recently. This had been 3-speed. The Moss had been 4-speed since it was put in. I moved the stencil blades I had put on the Hunter, as you saw, that used to be on the Hunter in here onto this. See if I can get to an angle where the stencil glows nicely. Here we go. And my dad had me put a bunch of magnets of various religious icons on the fan. I'm going to put cut some sheet brass to fill in the gaps between between the light sockets on the upper ones they'll be arched. Should be quite interesting when it's done. Then we can move on to the bedroom. Hunter Covent Garden in copper. Red side of the blades down. Right now it's turning we have it turning this slowly by putting both the wall control and the pull chain on low, because you can put capacitor controls in series to make even slower speeds. Dan's explained that on some of his videos already. That master bedroom there. Kind of the small TV room. Hunter Ashland. Replaced a Coastal Breeze just because I wanted a 4-blade fan, not a 5. I'm thinking about putting a black Fasco in here eventually. I just need to get the sheet metal people to hurry up on the brackets for that one. Once that's done, it will be finished. It will be put in. Again, this is on low plus low. And in my own room, a Black Hunter original, relatively modern one, because it's some 07. It does have the brass snap oiler Hicks, so it is one of the better skeletal ones. This one's on variable speed, so it can go really slow. Sometimes it will go even slower than this, just depending on how badly the voltage drop is out here, which can get really, really nasty sometimes. It will even sometimes stall at minimum. But I have it set so that at normal voltage I'll still get a decent low. of course, all the way up to high. Got an LED on the smart dimmer on it for the light. That's a 75 watt equivalent LED daylight on the fan. Right there I'd only dimmed it to half. I'll put the fan back where I left it. The living room one also has, for its speed, that's on a 4-speed control. Similar to Dan's, it's actually a Hampton Bay one. And we even have a little chart here. Don't know if that will focus for you. But we have a little chart showing how the speeds, how they roughly produce the speeds. Basically, it seems as though the speed on this is roughly 10 times the value of the speed capacitor, as an estimate. I think you might not have noticed, but on the tape, I don't know if you noticed, but I had a little one of those Lascos on this rather cluttered table in blue. Those little plastic Lascos. And the Newtone veranda over here I'm going to be putting up in the basement at some point. Just I'm going to set up an array, and a Lady Delta that I'm just going to put in storage. I got that one mostly in case I needed a Casablanca motor. This one, the stencil blades are sitting downstairs right. I just haven't gotten around to taking the motor down. I will do a spin down of the upstairs fans, but I'm going to show you the fans downstairs first. After turning one, just added some LED lighting down here to avoid having to use the shop lights. One here, Cree daylight. Another Cree daylight bulb there in a vintage fixture. And 2 Philips daylights that look like the director bulbs on that spotlight. First of all, there's this homebrew job, which is actually a 220 volt motor for 1/3 horsepower, but running it on 110 so it's derated to 1/6 horsepower, but that blade only needs 1/12. That's just to blow heat off the stove up into the upstairs. That's on variable speed, of course, because depending on how hot the basement is, you want to change how fast the fan is. Temporarily, for this winter, for circulation, I put up a Palico 48-inch fan on a variable speed using my testing cord, which normally I magnetically stick on a kind of slip together frame that's made of both wood and steel. So it's just magnetically attached. It's on media. I'll put it to low real quick so you can see the cane better. But it's just a temporary install. That fan will be replaced with I have a plastic Emerson Designer 42 I'm going to put in its place, just because in this space it would be unlikely to yellow where there's no natural sunlight. Here's the twin to the upstairs cane fan. Here's a twin to it. This one's just a little lighter, and the glass is got ribbing. The blades are a little lighter. This one I had, but it's the twin to it. To the upstairs one. I don't know which is the stronger twin, because I'm never going to get a chance to test them together. Over here, I put over that table the only 6-blade fan in the house. A Lakeside 2 with custom wingtip blades, making it smaller where it works better. Let's turn that one off for a moment so you can see the blades. There's a better shot of the Palico where you can see it turning. You can actually see the cane and the vents. Vented spinners are quite attractive. Put it on high too, just so you can get a quick reference on high. It really goes on high. That's a heavy cast iron motor right there. Put it back on its medium speed where I had it. Now you can see the wingtips on this. That light is linked in with the other fluorescent lights on this side of the basement, but I'm going to redo it sometime to be linked to the far bank, because it just seems to make more sense that you'd want them there. There's one other ceiling fan down here. A slim line that I had to replace a bad coil in. And I did some other interesting stuff to it because some of its parts got put on other fans over time. So it gives it a custom finish, but pull chain does light, then light plus fan. Sounds like the bearings might be a little dirty in this guy. That does fan only. And then back to off. Now for the big spin down upstairs. Most of the fans up there I kind of cross-wired onto a single circuit. I had to pull some extra wires from the axis to get them all on our backup generator. Because in the winter, they and the wood stove are the only heat. So the wood stove is the only heat source, and you need the fans to get the air through the rest of the house. Put that on high. Put that on high. Put that on high. Now put the WF on high. That one has the motor like Adam's copper tat, if I didn't say that already. Put the stained glass on high. And the crest on high. Even the one in that TV room is on the same circuit, but that's going to be too hard. It would be too hard to monitor that one too, and since I'm going to change that fan eventually, I don't think it's valid to do the spin down. This fan flies and moves about almost as much air as that Hunter original in my estimation. But it turns even faster because it moves about as much. That's 56 if you didn't notice. It's really big. Really powerful. Now, kill power. I suspect the crest, since it turns is small and a fairly slow fan and it's not fast, but it doesn't turn much faster than the 52s, that it should stop first. Then probably the Newtone, just because it's a 36. After that, not as sure. Probably the Casablanca or maybe the stained glass. The WF should be one of the last ones because it turns so quickly. So slowing them down. Crest is definitely not looking so hot in terms of speed. This is still turning very fast, almost as fast as its normal low speed, as its added low speed. That's turning. Blades on that are a little warped. I'll have to try to straighten that out sometime, and looks like I need to tighten the brackets to the flywheel again. Okay, crest is about to stop. Yep, it stopped. Newtone's about to stop. Yep. So that was right, crest, Newtone. Strange that these stack motor fans are slowing down faster than the imports, but then again, the imports they have the casing on the outside, so that adds a bit of inertia versus the rotor in the center, plus the shallower blade pitch on the imports could be a factor. This one is so big that could either be a plus or a minus, so it's going to either be K55 Emperor thing that I'd call the Byzantium because of the Byzantine iconography on it now, and because that was part of the... Okay, that actually stopped before the Casablanca, which surprises me. But this will probably be next, just because its blade pitch is so steep. So now it's down to these two. That stained glass one is almost stopped. And it stopped. It stopped. Just the WF as the winner. That one really flies, and it shows in the spin down. Because it still hasn't stopped. So there you have it. That's their fans. At some point I might do some videos with individual fans here if requested. Later.